My name is David Howden. I'm an AB HSE instructor for Arizona Center for Youth Resources. Just to give you like 2 sentences about my experience with Hyflex, I have a course that I give in a satellite location and was working there throughout the pandemic, and they had an interactive projector. And as students were not able to start coming into the office again, we had some students who were attending from home and some students who were attending from the office. And it was working really well for us. And so I discussed it with my boss and said, I think that this is something we need to do for our classes at our main campus. And then we applied for money to start using Hyflex within our campus, and have been going through choosing technology, finding out what works, finding out what doesn't work, and continuing our Hyflex journey. So what I'm going to share with you today are just some of the things that we have been using or have looked at, or I've been recommended by other instructors, and I'll share those with you. And then if you have any questions, I can answer them when I'm done. So when we talk about technology in the classroom, what you may be used to when students are seeing a class is perhaps a camera at the back of the classroom, pointing forwards, seeing the backs of the heads of the students, and what may be projected by the instructor, seeing the instructor on the whiteboard. That was probably what a lot of people saw before the pandemic. And now here we are during the pandemic, and we are looking at screens with little pictures of our attendees. And now, of course, we're starting to move back to the classroom. So we want to combine the best of both worlds. So the Hyflex Classroom, this is where we want to be. We have the instructor, we have students who are participating in the class, we have students who are participating virtually, and students can see and listen to their fellow students who are online, and then the student online is sitting in front of their computer, but actually feels like they are participating within the classroom. So some of the things that we've used for technology in the past is the whiteboard. If you're going for projection or display of what you are working on in front of the class, the benefits of using a whiteboard is that you probably already have it, but the con to a whiteboard may be where you have to place your camera, how you would set up your camera within the classroom. Now, the smart board has a thinner profile of some display technology. It's a little bit more versatile than a traditional whiteboard, but again, it's going to depend on your camera placement for your virtual students to see what you're doing on the whiteboard. So one of the things that I have had experience with is an interactive projector. So the good thing about an interactive projector is that it can project on very large areas. You could practically take up a whole wall with projection. It is interactive, so you can use it like an electronic whiteboard, and with your presentation software, you are able to show the students online what you're working on. It's a great way to bring students up to the front of the class to participate. But one of the cons is it is a projected image. If you can get one of the short throw projectors, then you have less of an issue with perhaps people being in shadows. But it is a projected image. Another option is an interactive television. So benefit of this is that it's just like a giant tablet on your wall, and it can function as a PC depending on what you have purchased So you could control it with a wireless or mouse or keyboard. It may have features embedded like presentation software, an electronic whiteboard. This one that I'm displaying here is the one that we are using on our campus. It has screen sharing, it has access to Windows, and it has also apps that you can add. One of them is you can add the NASA apps. So you can go to NASA's website and view the latest NASA videos. So it's a good option. It also is available in many different sizes. You can get very large or you can get smaller if you have a smaller classroom. So for audio, most people, and this is when we first started Hyflex, before we got to television, we were having the instructors work on their laptops. So we were using the microphones that came with the laptop. So the benefits of that are that it comes with the unit, the PC, the laptop, some projectors and televisions also come with the built-in microphone. But the difficulties with it are that it may not have volume across the classroom. The sound quality may not be that good. The microphone quality might not be that good. There's issues with instructor and student mobility. So if the instructor steps away from their laptop, it makes it difficult. Or if you are trying to get a student within the classroom on to the presentation software, you might have to move the laptops or have them come to the PC. This is not as much an issue if you have the projector television, but you may need to add a wired microphone to the laptop if that's what you plan on using. However, you can get wireless speakers with built-in microphones. The good thing about them is that they are wireless. They can supplement what you have with your presentation and display. They are movable. You can have sound and volume across the classroom. The cons with them are that it would be an added expense, and then you have to determine what the best placement is within your classroom and how many you would need based on the size of your classroom and the acoustics within the room. So cameras, like I said, when we first started doing Hyflex, our teachers were using their laptops. So they were using the laptop camera. If you're using a PC in the classroom, you might have to add a webcam. The benefit of that is a webcam is pretty cheap, but the cons are that the virtual students may not be able to see in-person students unless you have a classroom set up where every student has technology at their desktop. And the teacher then becomes a movie director, or students can't move around if the camera is stationary. So one of the things you can do is a 2-camera solution. You can get a lectern camera, which would point towards the teacher and the display. It would have a wide angle. It could be motion following. It's capable of zooming. It's portable. The cons are that this would be a 2-camera solution, so it would involve setting up 2 cameras within the classroom, 1 camera at the lectern, and then a camera classroom pointing towards the class. Again, it's very similar. It would have a wide angle. It would be motion following. It would have zooming and be portable. And the cons are that it would be a 2-camera solution. You'd have to set up 2 cameras within the classroom. If the classroom is going to be a permanent Hyflex classroom, it may not be the best option. You could get a ceiling or wall mounted camera. It would be wide angle. It could be instructor tracking based on face motion, or divided up in zones. It would be a permanent installation. The cons would be that it could be part of a 2-camera solution, depending on where you mount the camera, and it would not be portable. Then there's a wall-mounted student tracking system, which could supplement. It would sit over your display system. It would be wide angle. It has student tracking with face, motion, and voice. It would be a permanent installation. One of the cons that I read about while looking for cameras for this presentation is that voice tracking cameras may not be great in classrooms where there's a lot of activity. And then also a con for this might be that it's a permanent installation. And then this is a 2-camera system with both cameras built in. It again is wide angle. It's instructor tracking using face, motion, or voice. It would be a permanent installation. It's a 2-camera solution in 1 unit, but it's very, very expensive. We're following along with what industry and business has used for technology. And so there are really high-end things out there for businesses that are able to expend on technology, but I work for a non-for-profit, so a lot of these things are out of our range. And just to wrap up, there were a couple other things to consider. So if you are using a touch screen television or a projector, and you want the students to work, if the instructor isn't right there up front with them, you might provide them with a tablet with a stylus, which would give them the ability to write from wherever they are observing on what the students are working on at the board. There's always the possibility that you do give every student in the room a laptop, but then it kind of feels like you are just doing a virtual class with people sort of just sitting in the classroom. And the last thing is desk configuration. You would want to think about how you use your classroom. I know lots of people may have desks in set places, but during discussions want to change them into perhaps a circle or a U shape. You would have to think about how are we going to set up our technology so that we can continue doing our class the same way that we do now.